So first things first, how are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Yourself?
Not bad at all. So before we get into the music you are making right now, I'd like to jump back to the beginning. Now, and this is separate, obviously, for both of you, but when you started to make music, what did you get out of it? What was the drive, so to say, to pursue music?
Yeah, it's a lot of just a huge let out of emotion, and it's an escape. That's pretty much what I find I get out of it. Whenever I'm writing or whenever I'm playing an instrument, it's just it's a nice bit of time, a nice bit of mindfulness. That's pretty much where I'm at with that, where I've always been at with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm vaguely similar. I think especially when I was like a teenager, um, I think I definitely struggled with kind of like understanding like what my feelings were. But what I was always able to do was kind of portray that sort of feeling like through music. And I think like yeah, with that, like it was just that understanding I always had like subconsciously with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there specific artists then that instilled this notion into you? I get certain music, because uh, can I can see it both ways. It's both cathartic to listen to music, but it's also cathartic to make music. I can see both sides of that. So
Yeah.
so
Hmm.
when did the one side of listening to music or finding something in music that you listen to creating it yourself?
Um, for me, I think there was three bands. The first band when I discovered Linkin Park when I was
Mm.
about 12, I think 12 or 13. Um, like before then, like I was never really like obviously I was into music, but like not into music. Like I
Mhm.
listened to what was on the radio, which would probably be like Kanye West at the time, or like Lil Wayne. Um, but like listening to Linkin Park, it was like that resonance, like you said, that cathartic feeling. I was like, oh yeah, like I feel this. This actually makes sense. I think then a few years later, Kill Switch Engage were a big one. I think Kill Switch Engage was like the big one for me with that, where like yeah, it was just so powerful to listen to. And like for me, that was my first proper experience, like going into metal. When I say metal, I mean more like the metal core, sort of like actually having
Sure.
like growly vocals, chunky riffs, and sort of stuff. That was my first experience with that, and yeah, it was really powerful for me at the time. Um, yeah, yeah.
For you, Ethan?
So I grew up in musical theatre.
Okay.
So for me, it was like the whole performing side of things. Like you got the acting, you got the dancing, you got the singing, and I grew up with that in my life. And then I got to about maybe 11 or 12, possibly, where I started realizing that out of all three, I really wanted to go down the music avenue. Like music was just something, singing was something I was passionate about, and um, I listened to it. I think the first band that came into my life that kind of made me want to go down the metal avenue,
Mm.
where Evanescence were a huge part of that. That was the first rock show I'd ever been to. So Evanescence, Avenged Sevenfold were another one, and then you've got like Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, and I've forgotten who the other one was. Like one of them that was so important to me. Yeah, Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, Avenged Sevenfold, and Bring Me the Horizon. That's it.
Right.
I was going
Um,
to Papa Roach.
oh yeah, yeah, Papa Roach as well. But yeah, like I'd probably say Linkin Park, Linkin Park, Avenged Sevenfold, and Bring Me the Horizon are the three that like really kind of inspired me a lot to do metal music. But I used to like listen to like Bruno Mars and Ed
Okay.
Sheeran. So it's like that was before I started listening a lot to Evanescence. That's what I was kind of singing and stuff.
But that's an interesting point because Tom, you mentioned Kanye, and now Ethan, you mentioned Bruno Mars, and that kind of influences. And does some of that early stuff that you used to listen to, or maybe still listen to, does that still seep in? Because I can imagine, and this is kind of jumping ahead here, but on Undone there is that kind of more hip hop influence, and so are you still a very eclectic? Do you still have a very eclectic approach to what you do?
For me personally, I got lot more eclectic in, I'd say, the past 6 or so years.
Okay.
Like obviously, yeah, I knew like kind of the big hip hop songs, which were whatever current at the time, but like it's something I never really dived into. I was a little bit snobby when I was a bit younger, especially when I got more into Mel, where it's like if it's not Mel, it's shit, right? um, but I think when I got to uni, like I kind of say outgrew, but yeah. Um, I feel like I mean I listen to like guys like Joji now. Joji's a really big one for me. Me and Ethan both love Doja Cat.
Yeah.
She's awesome, I think.
Yeah, she's fucking great, man. 1975 is a really big one for me now. Kendrick Lamar, like I love him. He's a genius. Childish Gambino. Yeah, I think like that's all accumulated in the last few years, and like yes, I mean you hear it in Undone, but I also think like it's definitely got like that Linkin Park hybrid theory sort of feel, like the Mike Shinoda sort of rapping, like the big
Sure.
riff, and like the angelic choruses and stuff. Like it's always been there, but it's taken me quite a while to actually fully embrace that other side of it. And I think I'm a lot happier musically because of it. I feel like, especially these days where a lot of stuff, especially in rock, where a lot of stuff's been done already, I feel like. And I feel like the way forward for a lot of people is to not just kind of be pinned down to one genre. You have to have that wide array of genres to listen to, because I think that's where the most interesting creative music will be coming from now.
And when you think about as well, like how many songs are out in the world now? Like it's insane, and like they're of all different genres. There are still kind of new sounds being made as well, but overall, like there are songs that were made 20 years ago, like the early 2000s or like the 90s or the 80s, and those sounds are being revisited again but modernized, and that's it is still that same style, but it's also kind of not, because we're doing something new with it, and like there are so many people doing that at the moment, because I think it's important that we revisit things and we kind of change them and maybe improve them, or just kind of bring them back to life again. But yeah, like with the whole Doja Cat thing, like me and Tom have been listening to a lot of like loads of like modern hip hop, loads of modern pop, but also I've recently been kind of revisiting a lot of old school as well. So I mean, I loved hip hop growing up. I've probably got more of a love for it now than I did before, but old school hip hop is just the vibes of old school hip hop are just unmatched. So kind of bringing those to life in Undone, it was fun to do, and it was cool to kind of do it in a different kind of way. Like it sounds old school, but it also feels a bit more new as well, which is cool. So
well, you raise a great point, and I certainly agree. I think a lot of music is starting to blend in terms of genres, and it's becoming more appreciated when it does. I think it used to be more demarcated, but it's now you see it blending more. So with that in mind, then do you have a sense that the band has kind of found their sound, or at least the basis of it?
I think we've gotten a basis. I think especially kind of bearing in mind, we were still, even before I joined, still very much finding our footing. And then
Mm.
I joined right as lockdown happened for us in
Mm.
the UK. So I did my audition, like we had a few rehearsals, and then like we didn't get to really see each other. And like it was quite hard, I think, for us to kind of develop and come together, obviously because of that. But I think in like this past year and so it's we've gotten a more of an understanding of
Mm.
what our business is. But I also think within that there's so much room for us to there's so much room for us to like explore and try different things. I like we've got a sound now. I like we know we want riffs. Like we want a cheeky breakdown every so often. We want beautiful choruses. Like stuff like that. We want a bit hippy hoppy. But like, yeah, that's like our foundation. But within that, there's like so many different areas we can sort of
Mm.
branch out to. It's very exciting. I'm very excited for where we're at now, but I'm also very excited for where we can go in the future.
Yeah, we kind of want to be a bit more no holds barred with our approach, I guess. I mean, like with the first EP that this band released, you had tracks like This One's For You and Perspectives.
Mhm.
And Perspectives was kind of like a slight touch on what we're kind of doing now. But even then, Perspectives is still very different to what we're doing now. Like it's what we're doing now is a lot more modern in our approach than that first EP was. And we got Tom in the band now, and Tom's like a riff god in my eyes. He's so good. He just like comes out with so many, and they're all amazing. So it's this first record that we're doing at the moment. There are so many, like all throughout the album, like there are riffs. Like it's cool as I'm trying not to swear right now because I'm very
No,
excited.
you can swear if you like to.
Fuck.
Okay, fantastic. It's cool as fuck. But
No.
yeah, I think like Tom said, there's still room to improve, and there will always be room to improve. And I think we've definitely found our bass sound. But I think even after this record, there's so much that we can do with that and expand on and play around with.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Then you call Tom a riff god. So him joining the band, what has that kind of done for the songwriting within the band, and kind of for your role as well? Because I assume you write most of the lyrics, or if not all.
Yeah, so like Tom coming into the band has it's just been a blessing. I mean, for me, when I write riffs, I'm quite basic. Like I'm not. I can play guitar, but I'm not very good. But even now, like I'm learning from Tom, and I am improving. And like even when I come up with ideas, I try to come up with things that are along the lines of what Tom would maybe do, so then Tom can expand and develop them. But Tom just brings so many good riffs to the table. Like it allows me to take a massive backseat, and we'll do this. We use this thing called Splice sometimes. So we both use the same software to be able to create instrumentals and stuff, so we can bounce things back and forth with each other. And we are making more of an effort as well to have like full band writing sessions now as well. Like Adam's a very, 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 very good drummer creatively as well as technically, and Will as well. He's into his like metalcore and stuff, so there are so many elements as well creatively that he brings to the table to kind of develop that. But with Tom, it's just it's massively elevated the writing of the band, because now it's not just completely simple. Like there's a lot more to it, and it just feels more fun. I can focus a lot more on the melodies and the lyrics, and don't have to worry about the rest so much.
Yeah, I think I think as well is like we always tend to find ourselves on the same page a lot of times. Like
Yeah.
I'll send Ethan ideas, and I'll be like, "Hey, I've got this cool like vocal idea." It's like, "Oh, I was thinking the exact same thing." It's like we're so in sync, man. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can imagine, for instance, that the music and the lyrics, it's also often a reciprocal relationship. The one influences the other. And so have you found that, for instance, that certain riffs elicit certain lyrics, or certain lyric ideas elicit certain types of moods or sonic elements?
I mean, I don't know about Tom, but I definitely, I definitely, yeah, I definitely feel that a lot. When Tom sends a riff, for example, there will be moments where I'm instantly like, yes, I've got to try and do this, and I'll be sending him voice notes in WhatsApp, like maybe I've got to try and do this, and he's like, I was thinking the same thing, and like, and then if we change up bits, and if we work on the instrumental together, and we're kind of putting the production together on it, and then the mood kind of changes, it does absolutely kind of then become that thing where actually that didn't work so well. Maybe I can try this vocally instead. And even with the lyrics, like there will be sometimes where lyrics are written and then it fits the melodies and that's fine. But then you go back to it and then you're like, actually, this could be better. This could be a lot stronger.
When it comes to one of the recent songs, and Prisoners, what was that? Am I right in saying that was one of those songs where a riff reminded you of something you wrote? Or no?
What do you mean?
I read somewhere that the song "Prisoner," that it once you heard the riff that somebody at I suppose Tom came up with, that it kind of reminded
that
you
was
of the song.
Control. That was Control.
That was Control.
So,
okay.
So when we were auditioning Tom, one of the things that we were asking in the audition processes was if they could present like a riff that they'd written, just to see whether creatively, you know, there were any kind of. So Tom presented the riff that we used in Control, but the thing is, when I'd written Control, because Control was written in like 2018,
okay,
and was held back for like a very long time. But the riff that I'd written for that was just very, very, very simple, and I'd been waiting like for the right moment because I didn't know creatively what kind of riff to put there. We heard Tom play his riff that he created during the audition, and instantly I was like, that's the riff. Like that's the riff. I was filming him and stuff, and I even said it once Tom had joined the band. I was like, this riff, like, can we use it?
It's when I knew like when that happened that I was in straight away. I knew I was in the band already.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing then, because was it immediately from, well, I suppose it is now, but was it immediately from that first audition that you felt kind of, okay, this is going to work, now we have the right people together and we can make something out of this?
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
it was pretty instant, yeah.
I think as well.
It was, yeah, no, you go first.
So I knew Will.
Okay.
I knew Will for quite a long time. We went to the same school together. I was the year above him, but I think, you know, he was also you know, what's the word? Doing a bit of persuasion, because I was there with him before, like the day before the audition, and he was like, guys, you need Tom, please, please, please. So I think that played into it a little bit as well. But yeah.
I think one of the key points as well that Will made that was absolutely true was that he felt creatively Tom and I would write really well together. Tom stylistically was more like 1975-ish kind of like ambient poppy, like with a lot of the stuff that he was writing at the time. Whereas me, I was trying to find that heavier sound and, you know, kind of revisit that kind of perspectives vibe, that kind of new metal sound. So it was like we'd released Stigma at the time, and you know, change was before that as well. So it was like that was definitely the route we wanted to continue going down. So then when Tom joined the band and we were writing together, Tom started adapting a lot more to the like the new metal kind of vibe that we're going for. And I definitely have taken on even more of a poppy sense now with how I'm writing. So then now me and Tom are just like this. It's great.
We
We're
found
hugely in sync. So Will was correct. So Will, if you're watching, I love you. Thank you.
No, if we go towards the newer songs and Prisoners, and we mentioned Undone, I also read somewhere on the internet, so I have to check now if this is correct or no, but that the newer songs are a little bit more heavy or darker in terms of the themes. Is that fair to say?
Yes,
absolutely, yeah.
How come?
Nothing that we've released before has been this heavy, and it's I guess it's just because we're a different band now. We're just a different band. We've our sounds like matured a lot since where we first started, and you know it's a new lineup. It's the final lineup as well. Please don't leave, Tom. It's the final lineup, so it's you know we're in a solid place, and we've plus with COVID, there was a lot of time to be able to just write. There was a lot of time to just be able to work on where we're going next, and kind of find where our sound begins, really, or the proper beginning of it. And yeah, it's just a lot more riffy. It's a lot heavier in that respect. I think tonally as well, like Tom and Will are really great with guitar tones as well. So that also helps bring the heavier side of it. We've also got some songs in lower keys as well. So it's like there are just loads of different elements kind of contributing to a much heavier approach from us. But
yeah, I think as well, like we definitely do have, we definitely have the heavier songs, like we really do. But like there's a good variety on this album. I think overall the tone is dark, but like we do have some really like beautiful moments.
yeah,
Like really like ambience or like takes you to another place, sort of stuff. I like, yeah.
Tom, do you have one? Sorry to interrupt if you were about to say something, but
Yeah.
do you have perhaps, maybe this is putting you on the spot, but do you have a favorite lyric that Ethan wrote?
Ooh, I've got a few. I always liked "In Prisoner," "My lung is a smoke machine, inebriation is my friend." I always thought that was a great lyric. Oh,
thanks, man.
but I don't want to diverge, like not diverge. I don't want to spill too much from the album, but there's one song which is like it's basically like Ethan just going off on a rap. I like some of the wordplay and stuff is really creative. It's dark, but like tonally, like how it comes across, it feels like a hype track in a way.
Yeah.
There's I mean, like, yeah, there's so many. Like, I don't want to like spoil too much, but like, we do have another song coming out soon. And the lyrics in that one are really nice. Yeah. But I think inebriation is my friend. Like my lungs feel like a smoke machine. Like that's always been like that's really cool, man. Like,
okay. And what I find interesting then, because well, obviously I've just met you, but some of the lyrics are quite dark. I wrote down from Undone, this time I've given up, and there's and in Prisoner there's a similar sentiment.
Yeah.
Was the pandemic part of this, or were there other things that kind of weighed on you as you wrote these songs?
I think what it is when I was a bit younger than I am now, a lot of what I was writing lyrically, as much as I was kind of explaining a little bit my story and my feelings and my thoughts and my emotions and I was really trying to, as well, at the same time, spread this message of kindness and spread this message of, you know, positivity and love, and empathy was a huge important theme for the band. But yeah, like with COVID and just a whole bunch of other life experiences, I think I'd probably say Stigma was the period of time where a lot of what I was writing started getting a bit more angry, a little bit more dark. But with this record, and like with Prisoner and with Undone, there is a massive sense of just kind of saying fuck it and kind of, you know, giving up. There is a lot of that on there, and I think I think a lot of it does boil down to experiences over the past few years, and kind of just not holding back from, you know, letting it all out. I think with a lot of the messages that were in our songs before, with the whole empathy thing, I think that will still play an important role in what we do. It just isn't something that is being preached about anymore. It's more of a, do you know what, fuck it, this is how I'm feeling, that hopefully people can relate to that. And if they can relate to it, then that's great. Like, we're not alone, but I'm just letting this shit out now. Like, I think that's pretty much where a lot of that comes from. But yeah, there is a massive theme of kind of like, it is what it is. I've kind of given up on myself throughout this entire record.
Final question then, and I'm not going to ask you about the album title because it's you're still kind of preparing for that, but what do you hope once the album is released that people will hear in it or take away from it?
Do you want to go first, Tom?
Mate, it's a great album. It sounds really cool. I think, like, going back to what we were saying before, I think it's like, it's just an opportunity for people to kind of suss out who we are now, you know, and then like where we can go. Like we said, we've kind of spent 2 years in a sort of limbo, and like within that we've sussed out what identifies us, like what our sound is. I think like as much as like the other songs are great, I mean, I wouldn't have joined them if I didn't think they were great. This is very much a like, yeah, this is us now, like, and like this is what we want to be, and like this it has been a long time coming, you know. I think for like what, 4+ years maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
yeah,
that's COVID included, and like,
Sure.
you know, COVID obviously a write-off, but yeah. So I remember like hearing like some of it, like what the demo album was, like where it is now. It's so different, so different. Yeah, so I think it's just like, yeah, people just taking away from it, like we're putting our flag in the ground now, you know, like this is 1,000 Fours, this is what we're about. Please like it, please, God, please like it.
Thank you for the time that you've taken to talk with me. Thank you so much.
no, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It's been good fun. Thank you.